Folks, you just heard the Valley Season 2 trailer recap. Yeah, if I can do 35 minutes on 3 minutes of footage, get ready for this Beverly Hills recap. It's going to be 8 hours long. No, listen, we're doing a Beverly Hills recap of this Tuesday's episode. Listen, you have heard me bitch and moan about Beverly Hills throughout this season, and I'm not a negative Nancy. I swear, you guys know me. I'm not. But what I will say is that even if I don't like the episode I've found with Beverly Hills, these are some of the most fun recaps to do. So it really does, like, I'm looking forward to this, even though I think we are getting a retread in a lot of these scenes. And I find other ways to entertain myself watching the show, and I don't mean like I'm on my phone. I mean like there's a scene between Dorit and PK, and it's all about what's not being said. It's all about like you could have a real flippin' conversation, and we're not having those real conversations. Like Mo and Kyle, like we get it. You're separated. We have all accepted it. We have all like, just tell us what's going on. I don't care if Mauricio is spotted with 10 naked women in an airport at this point. You're separated. I care deeply about these people, but I feel like there is a retread, like we are repeating the same scenes again and again and again. And we're at St. Lucia by the end of this episode. So it's one of those things where you see the trailer for the next week's episode and you're like, whoa, that's going to be a big one. And I think next week's going to be a big one, but we're going to have a lot of fun with today's recap, I swear. Now, I need to make a couple of announcements here. There is an important announcement about the Patreon. I did like a 2-hour Patreon, or no, like an hour and 40-minute Patreon while I was driving back to California yesterday. And I answered a bunch of questions, and it really was a lot of fun. I think it is some of my finest work that I've ever done on an AirPod. It's truly, truly magnificent work. But I was told by Sandra, this is interesting. We got an email from Patreon, and it said this: we are writing to let you know that your Patreon has been updated to use Apple's in-app purchase system. This means that all purchases of memberships and shop items through the Patreon iOS app will now include Apple's 30% App Store fee. As a reminder, Apple's fees do not affect your existing members. So listen, guys, if you are thinking about signing up for the Patreon, do yourself the service of signing up online, not on your phone. You've just got to go on, like, on the old computer, type patreon.com/so bad it's good and sign up on your laptop or your desktop. But if you sign up on your phone, 30% more if you sign up using an Apple phone. That is insane. What is going on? Anyways, I listen, and it's $5. It's like the lowest level of the Patreon is like $5. And then you're asking people to pay 30% more? Guys, I know that nobody from Apple is listening to this podcast. By the way, yeah, what if they? But no, nobody's listening from Apple. But I'm like, that is redonkulous. So I am just giving you that warning that there is a 30% upcharge if you use your iPhone, the iOS system on your iPhone, to sign up for the Patreon. Also, like I said, I did that Patreon in the car, and I thought I had gotten all the questions, but I didn't get one question. And Sandra reminded me to answer this question, and I figured instead of making a whole new Patreon, I would just answer it here. And I wanted to make sure I hit everybody, but I guess I missed this one. So I had it up. I think I said something bad about Apple right now, and Apple just screwed up what I was looking at. Who knows? Okay, here it is. The question that I missed is from Caitlin, and it says, what has been your best experience besides a friendship with the incomparable Doug Buden, a chump co-host on Jeff Lewis Live? Thank you for the joy you bring into my life. Well, that's right. That's amazing, the last sentence. But I think Caitlin's asking what my best experience has been on Jeff Lewis Live. And I said in the past, like I've loved the friendships, like Doug Buden. I was talking to him today on the phone because we have ChumpCon coming up in Vegas, which I'm very excited about. I was asked today to moderate the ChumpCon show on Saturday night in Vegas, which I'm very excited about. They got all the chumps. They got Cynthia Bailey, Crystal Minkoff, Reza Farahan, all of these amazing guests, and I get to moderate the whole show. So I get to be on the stage with Jeff the whole time. And, I just geek out about stuff like that. And I had such a good time at the December Jeff Lewis live show. So I feel so, there's no joke. I feel so blessed to be doing stuff like this. So I'm so excited. But to answer your question, what has been the best experience? Well, I think I just kind of answered that. The best experience is Jeff has given me opportunities like hosting that live show or being able to go to ChumpCon. And he, no matter what, he is so generous. Like, he is so generous. You get paid for these things, but it is such a learning experience to watch how that radio show on SiriusXM operates. So to me, a radio fan and a Sirius subscriber, since Stern went over there years and years and years ago, it has been such a, it really has been a great joy to be a part of that. But yeah, all the people, all of the guests, I have kind of locked myself away in this little podcast dungeon a lot. So it has been a nice opportunity to get out every week and work with people in person. And it's another reason why I want to do more in-person interviews, which you're going to see a lot more now on this show, is more in-person interviews than, behind a Zoom screen or something like that. So I don't know. There has been such little like, I even love when I get made fun of on that show. It reminds me of some of my really good, like, I have this great friend, Adam, that I met when I first moved to LA, and we did the Groundlings together. And he reminds me a lot of Don Rickles, and he roasts you. But at the same time, you just laugh because he's so good at it. And I don't know, there's something about being around people that have a decent enough sense of humor and they just roast you. And I'm going in tomorrow, I'll be on with Sarah Colonna, and I just know I'll get roasted, but I have such a good time getting made fun of. It's really hard to explain. And what's so great too is that he gives you a leash where you can make fun of him as well. And it is, I don't know, I grew up listening to Stern, so I was so aware of that atmosphere. So when I first got on the show, I was like, oh, I know what this is. I think my misconception before, I knew Jeff Lewis from being a fan of Flipping Out, but I did not listen to his Sirius show because I had the misconception that it was a show that was like recapping reality TV. And they do talk about reality TV on there, but it's more about his life and things like that. And the relationships he's created with all of the people he works with. So that to me I was like, oh, this is like listening to Stern, but it's like being in that environment has been so good for me. So I do not have, I don't know. So for me, that is it and all of the friendships. So I hope that answers your question, Caitlin. And I'm sorry I didn't get to that on the Patreon, but very excited to host the ChumpCon show. A special thank you, as always, to Juliana Carosa, who took amazing notes on this episode. And this week, she said, she told me last week, I don't think I can do this week because she had to do something. And I was like, oh my God, no problem. And then I was driving and it took so long because of the rain yesterday. And she texted me and said, hey, I'm still doing it. I was like, no way. And so it was the best. So thank you, Juliana, especially. This episode 15 of this season, is called Trouble in Paradise. Now, if we didn't watch this show at all and we saw that title, what would you think that title meant? Trouble in Paradise. I would think that they are on some amazing island and there's like a shipwreck or something like that. But maybe it's paradise anyways, it's obviously not that. The description that the cable company gives us is Kyle and Mauricio speak face to face for the first time since he was photographed by another woman. Photographed with another woman, not by Mauricio, let me photograph you. Boz and her boyfriend try to strengthen their relationship. You know, it's so funny with all of these storylines. Boz is the most real. Like, it's like a first season storyline where it's like, oh, this seems pretty real. Like they're building a real relationship. He's like forming a relationship with her daughter from a previous relationship. And it's so real. And then you get to the 10th episode of Kyle going, what's going on with me and Mauricio? I don't know. And you're like, oh, come on, just give us the real stuff. And then it continues. Dorit and PK try to decide whether to salvage their marriage. Hey, shall we salvage this marriage? It's me, PK. Boy George said I've got the month off, so I've come to try to maybe salvage our marriage. That scene was so bizarre. I mean, if you want to talk about what the antithesis of passion is, I would point to that scene. It almost looked like a proctology exam or like when you meet like somebody to do your taxes. It was so weird and just void of feeling that I was like, why bother? What is going on? Previously on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, remember last week we had Sutton's fashion show, and Kathy Hilton just walked in front of some model during the show. And Kathy, we see you. We know you're a performance artist and you're one of the best there is. My God, this is art in motion. I now firmly suspect that Kathy Hilton knows every move she makes. This whole, oh, I didn't know I was walking in front of a model during a fashion show. BS. And by the way, I ain't mad at it. I like it. It's some of the most entertaining things in the show. But I think she knows and I think it makes her laugh inside nonstop. Erika was not surprised Kathy Hilton was doing that. Remember, we had the caviar Caspia caftan lunch that Jennifer Tilly threw, and Sutton was going in on Dorit very unfairly of like, you need to pick on somebody else whose wallet's fit, I say. And Erika's like, you think you're bigger than her? And Sutton's like, I think my wallet is. Which was so gross, you know? I mean, listen, do we think Dorit might not have a lot of money? Yes. Do we care? Not really. We talked about this, I think yesterday or Monday or something, is that Tracy Tudor from $1 Million Listing was on Jeff Lewis Live. And at the very tail end of the show, Tracy Tudor came saying that she did not pay some of her glam. That Dorit did not pay some of her glam. And Dorit, I said I was watching Watch What Happens Live, and she didn't say anything about it, but I only had watched halfway of that Watch What Happens Live, and she did address it, and she was like, I actually did pay. He tried to overcharge me, and he doesn't know how my accountant works, and so he has been paid. And Tracy Tudor's like, yeah, once I complained about it, it has now been paid. So there have always been rumors about Dorit and PK's financial situation, and you know, it's not even like, it's not a joke. It's not funny. Like I very much worry about Dorit because if PK seems to have this kind of, I'll wash my hands of you, you know, like, oh, that's it. I don't need you in my life. I'm going to get my own apartment. But it's weird because like, I feel like they've been in these potentially financial dire straits but they've been in it together, if that makes sense. And if he all of a sudden just is like, I don't need you anymore, that's a really scary space to be. But it's that rumor that keeps coming up, you know? And then we have that lunch scene last week with Garcelle and Dorit saying, what's your beef with Sutton? And, you know, we've seen that conversation many times. The only unique thing was that Garcelle and Dorit were kind of getting along. And they ended that scene like they end a lot of scenes of like, I'm okay with Dorit, but I've got my eye on her. And Dorit going, I've got my eye on her. And then we had Garcelle on a FaceTime with Sutton. Garcelle is like, you know, did you see the photos with him in Greece with a girl who had no clothes on? I mean, this, by the way, Garcelle, there's not a lot of storyline, but I will say as the season has progressed, I've grown to appreciate, like, we have the one person that is trying to bring the Morgan Wade relationship to light. Like the one person, everybody else will not touch the Morgan. I mean, we have a scene in this episode where Sutton seems like she is in a hostage situation, like where she is mum. She's like, I'm not saying no Morgan. I don't even know who Morgan Wade is. I never heard that. I don't even listen to country music. I say, I don't know nothing about no cowboy hats. And it is weird. Like Garcelle is pushing to get this storyline in. And for me at home, just because I am wanting to know, I'm like, push harder, please. We need the dam to break. Like, Kyle, come out. Freedom. Let the truth shall set you free. And still I rise, Kyle, please. We also had a very important scene last week with Kyle and Kathy getting dual breast exams. And Kyle's like, Mauricio clearly didn't know the photo was being taken, but it looked like somebody was taking that photo intentionally. And Kathy's like, it's not like this is Brad Pitt. I am still laughing at how they tried to throw so many digs about how Mauricio looks like shit, my God, and also a very micro penis. Kyle, you've always been very clear about protecting Mauricio's micro penis, but I just wonder how these other women deal with it. I just love that each episode potentially they say something nastier and nastier about Mauricio. Like, I think Mauricio is an objectively good-looking guy, even as he gets older. But now it's like, well, it's kind of like Screech. He reminds me a lot of Screech, Saved by the Bell. You know what I'm saying, Mr. Belding. This episode opens at Erika's newly decorated pool house, with Dorit arriving for a visit. Remember, Martin, I'm gonna design this whole thing. I'm gonna put up a wallpaper on the walls with palm trees. It's gonna be very elegant, and I want to see a new you, Erika. And I'm scared now that I don't think we're gonna see Martin again this season, because it feels like this is all decorated and done up now, and that's sad because I really, really enjoyed Martin and his voice and his whole look, his whole vibe. Anyways, Erika comes in and they do the whole like, hello, baby, welcome. And Dorit's looking around. I'm just going to take it in. God, this looks so good. By the way, Dorit is probably taking it in because she's going to have to eventually move in there with Phoenix and Jagger. Dorit on the talking head says, I don't know when the last time I saw Erika this happy. It was probably when she was on that private jet spending other people's money. What are you talking about? It's like she's radiating happiness. This house is incredible. Total transformation. And it literally is perfect for her. And Erika goes, thank you. I got us some coffee cake and some cookies. And now Bose comes over. So we got these three ladies that have kind of formed, like, I guess, a mini alliance. Bose is, there for Dorit in a way that Kyle has not been. And Erika keeps mentioning her wallpaper. And I was like, is that part of the gig to get Martin to come do this? I'm like, I'll do it for a cost, but I need you to mention my wallpaper every episode, please. Bo says, hi, Boo, nice to see you. This isn't necessarily a housewarming gift, but this is a St. Lucia gift. And we have a flashback to Sutton's fashion show where Bo says, I've been inspired by Sutton's call for us all to bond. Remember the beginning of the season when she's like, we are sisterhood. I'm going to tie all our arms up with this ribbon, and that means we're bonded for life. And she let them know last week that they're all going to go to St. Lucia, and all the ladies cheered. And Bose brought these gifts to Erika and Dorit, and Erika pulls out a bathing suit, and she's like, this is beautiful. I love Erika's first thought. You always think, she's like, is this free? Can I have this for free? She says, that colorway is really fucking great. I got scared that it was Beverly Beach, Dorit's swimwear line, but I think Bose bought this separately. And she's got this bag for every single person. And Bose says, girl, you're going to look so bomb. In a talking head, Bose lets us know these women do not know how to plan a girls trip without any kind of drama, and I believe they deserve a trip that's about fun and sun and just having a good time. Anything that goes wrong with this trip is their fault, not my fault. I can guarantee you that. I like Bose just setting up an insurance policy that none of what is about to happen in the next 3 episodes are her fault at all. But like fun and sun and housewives, they don't go arm in arm. Like, it's even more intense when they take the housewives on the road. I mean, you got Scary Island. You got that boat ride from hell on Roni. You have so many. Has there ever been even the rebooted Roni, when they did the cast trip at the very end, we had the Bryn situation. Is there any cast trip, and you guys probably know better than I do, that has just been wall-to-wall fun? And if it is wall-to-wall fun, are the producers like, boo, we're sending you to Milwaukee next time because this sucked? So Bo says there's going to be a whole fashion show in St. Lucia, a real fashion show. We swoop on over to Sutton's house in Bel Air, and Sutton's cutting a cucumber. She's like, these are great cucumbers, I say. And her dog Waylon's there. She's like, how many do I have to eat, Waylon? Pavlov has got nothing on me. I love, like, is she cutting up cucumbers for like a vodka drink? No, you know what I'm just saying? Like, is she like, oh, I'm gonna cut up some cucumbers. People say they're good on your eyes, but they're also good in a vodka drink. Garcelle comes in and Sutton's like, hello, I have somebody who looks like a movie star right here. And Garcelle's like, you look cute too. And then she jumps right in. Online, they're saying Kathy is fashion roadkill. And we have a headline from dailymail.com. Kathy Hilton causes chaos on the catwalk as she bumps into model while hijacking the runway at Beverly Hills co-star Sutton Stracke fashion show. And Sutton's like, oh, Lord, oh, no, my place in the fashion hierarchy has been disturbed because of Kathy Hilton and the klutziness. Also, was it a really slow news day at the Daily Mail? Well, I mean, I read the Daily Mail every day, and usually you'll get to these articles in the Daily Mail, and you're like, oh, come on. But it's like, yeah, I mean, Kathy in a talking head, after we flash back to that moment again, Kathy goes, oh my God, I can't believe it. I only have the best intentions. Oh, goodness gracious, I thought you were Kyle. I love that Kathy has fun with it because I think she does it on purpose. So Garcelle back in the scene says, did you see Dorit? Did you talk to her last night? And Sutton goes, I said hello. We said hello. I say that's it. And she shakes her hands and heaves a big sigh. Okay, let's put Dorit and Sutton on ice. And Garcelle keeps going because she's a shit stirrer. Oh, I forgot to tell you, Sutton. So when I had dinner with her and I said to her, hey, what is your beef with Sutton? She's like, do you think I have a beef with Sutton? And I go, well, yeah, I don't think it's one-sided. And Sutton's like, rolls her eyes big. Garcelle smirks, knowing that she's got a little gold. Meanwhile, back over at Erika's, Dorit's like, I had dinner with Garcelle. I don't know if I told you that. She said, Dorit, you mentioned the drinking thing. You know, she's sensitive about it. I said, first of all, Garcelle, I welcomed her. I was happy that day. And then Erika stops her and says,
I have to say something. I'm Erika Jayne. I have to stop you right now. You saying something about the drinking and her having this reaction about you, her business. I'm like, sorry, what about what was done to me?
And Boz goes, oh, and Dorit goes, hello. Erika in a talking head goes,
okay, look, Sutton and Garcelle cut me no breaks when I was going through the lowest point in my life. They had no problem talking about lawsuits and medication and drinking and all of these alleged things, right?
Okay. This is what I'm talking about in terms of retread and in terms of, we're seeing a softer side of Erika this season, but it's interesting. Like, it's just, sometimes the housewives are just a big old pile of narcissism and narcissists. Like, Erika was able to swing that back to her and like how she still feels she was not treated fairly a couple of seasons ago. I always have that thing that I say that every housewife or a reality star will have the hot potato. And when you have the hot potato, it means the focus is on you and you got to take it. Sometimes you just have the hot potato, right? And Kyle has been like, they're trying to give Kyle the hot potato and she's like, I don't want it. No, yeah, I don't want it at all. But Erika had the hot potato and she deserved to have the hot potato that season. And I don't understand. This is where I get a little lost and maybe you guys can help me out is she deserved those questions. Everything was so damn secretive. There was a $25 million payment that was funneled through her business. So I think it would be obvious that people, including her castmates, would have questions about it. And I almost feel like at this point, it's like, okay, good, I see the light. And I also understand where people would have been suspect. And for her to still feel like she is owed some sort of retribution about this is why that's where she loses me personally completely, right? And we have a flashback of all of these like kind of things of Garcelle in front of everyone saying, you need to figure out your medicine and drink ratio. But remember that? She was like almost pissed on that boat. She did need to figure out that. Erika continues in the talking head.
Now all of a sudden, Sutton wants sympathy because someone said something about her?
Erika to Dorit says,
Garcelle consistently defends that behavior.
Well, I had that conversation with her and Garcelle defended her. I said, you look at her behavior with rose-tinted glasses. This is my favorite because I love when we we had that scene with Garcelle, and we had the scene with Garcelle and Dorit. They flashed back earlier already in this episode to that scene with Dorit saying the rose-tinted glasses, and that's not enough. They also want to have Dorit telling Erika the same verbiage. So we've now seen this scene once in a flashback and now in relaying it to Erika, and we saw it last week again of like, we get it. Yeah, Rosie, we know what happened at that. This is where I lose it, man. I really lose. I'm like, yes, that's what you said. Okay, moving on. Now we're over at Sutton's. Garcelle said, I said you can't keep joking about the same thing that you know she gets upset about. And then she goes, but she can joke about it. I go, yes, she can joke about it, but you can't joke about it. Sutton, who, let's be honest, looks potentially a little hungover right now. She's like, I didn't joke about it. I never joked about it. Garcelle goes, so then I said to her, Dorit, I have a question for you. If Sutton gave you a Kelly bag, would everything be over? And Sutton's like, I really want to. You might get sad on it. Garcelle laughing goes, ha ha ha, you know what she said? What did she say? Oh yeah, that would change everything. We'd be the best of friends. Ha 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 ha. And Sutton goes, of course it would. At this point, just give Dorit a Kelly bag. We just find, like, okay, we're even. Give her a Kelly bag. We're back over at Erika's now, and Bose is like, well, it's hypocritical when they say, like, oh, well, you are defending Dorit all the time, or you're her mouthpiece while you're over here kikiing with yours.
All the time, for years now.
Bose says, those things don't work.
But for years.
And Dorit goes, years! And Erika goes,
years!
And Bose goes, so, although, okay, when we go to St. Lucia, you know, I'm working on the room assignments. Oh, and so you already know, the three of us are together. And Dorit's like, yes! And Erika's like,
we got a villa!
And Bose is like, oh, is this a thing? Is this like a thing? And I will say, like, it's cool that they're happy about it, but I hope Bose went through production, because in my producer's mind, having never produced a reality show in my life, I think I would have put Dorit and Sutton in a villa to themselves. I want to force interaction. I do not want to have to hear scenes back and forth of Garcelle going, then you know what Dorit said, and someone's like, what? And then going over to Erika's,
you know what Garcelle said?
Like, no, put them in that room. And it's like the COVID season of Summer House. Force them to be in that area together for 24 hours a day. Now we're back over to Garcelle's, continuing to dish to Sutton's. Garcelle goes, Dorit and I spoke about Kyle. Oh, you did? About the whole Mo of it all. Garcelle really, like, in the muck and the mire. She's like, I might not have a storyline, but I will make other people's storyline my own. Sutton goes, well, because they were acting like besties, talking about Dorit and Kyle all of a sudden. And Garcelle goes, yeah, they were besties last night. Yeah, besties rolling around on the sofa like they used to. And you could tell there's a tinge of jealousy here. Sutton's like, I was making inroads with Kyle because Dorit and Kyle they weren't getting along. And Kyle was becoming my special friend, I say. But last night they were rolling around on the couches. Garcelle goes, well, looks like they made up. They have more than made up. Garcelle in a talking head says, Kyle and Dorit having beef helps Sutton and Kyle have a better relationship, right? Because it's like Sutton now can get in with Kyle even more, and I think it's all what Sutton wants. She wants to be really good friends with Kyle. This is interesting because it's kind of like that Lisa Barlow relationship I always talk about. There's usually one person per iteration of Housewives that everybody wants to be friends with, and it really matters that person doesn't like them or likes them. Like, so in Beverly Hills, it's Kyle. Like, Dorit really cares about a relationship with Kyle. Sutton really cares about the and I will say, like, Kyle just doesn't seem to care. Like, it's different with Lisa. Like, Lisa, you know, does play favorites a little bit and will really go low. Kyle's always just like, whatever. What about Mo? I'm separated. It's different, but there's always that one person where I'm like, Sutton, you're fine. Just hang out with Garcelle and, like, you know, shoot the shit. Like, stand in your own power. It's fine. So Garcelle to Sutton says, so, you know, Dorit obviously feels for her like we all do, because it sucks to see photos of your ex making out with some child. No, I'm sorry. She's not a child, Garcelle says, with, a young adult. And Sutton shakes her head. Oh, God. Oh, my goodness, what you saying? And Garcelle goes, so we also talked about seeing Kyle at Morgan Wade's concert. We flash back to their dinner. Garcelle and Dorit, and Garcelle goes, and then, Kyle is at Morgan Wade's concert on the sidelines, and people are speculating, like, is this Kyle's way of getting back at Mo? Well, yes. Is it Kyle's way of getting back at Mo, or is it like Kyle's either really good friend or Kyle's more than just a really good friend? Like, I wasn't shocked to see Kyle at a Morgan Wade I feel like I've seen a lot of Kyle at Morgan Wade's concerts. Like, I don't know. I feel like they're almost counting on the audience having very forgetful memories, that this has been going on for a long time. I feel like the separation was like 7 years and 4 like it's a long time. And so, like, the freshness of it isn't there, but it is still being treated like it is so fresh. Like, I feel like every week now I say we have so many photos of so many instances of Kyle skipping down the road with Morgan and Mo making out or hanging out with multiple females. Like, we have so many instances of. But for your listening or viewing pleasure, I will now take you behind the scenes and let you know who this woman in Mykonos that took the picture with somebody that does not look anything like Brad Pitt, the very ugly Mauricio. We have all of her information. If you just do a quick Google search, her name is Nikita Khan. Nikita Khan. And they are no longer in a relationship, but Mauricio and Nikita Khan were romantically linked in July of 2024. They were seen together in Greece and Mexico. But then in December of 2024, Umansky was seen kissing model Claudia Kay in Aspen, Colorado. A source told Us Weekly that Umansky and Claudia Kay were not serious. Now, Umansky and his estranged wife, Kyle Richards, were separated in July of 2023. Neither party has filed for divorce yet. Now, the interesting thing about Nikita Khan is, let's see here. How old is she? I think she's 20 years younger than Mauricio. She's a beautiful woman, obviously, but her ex-boyfriend was the tech billionaire Larry Ellison, who owns Oracle. He's the former CEO of Oracle. His net worth is estimated to be $130 billion. And the relationship with Nikita and Larry began in 2010 when she was 19 years old and Larry was, get this, 66 years old. Okay, so let's do the math. Okay, 2010, we're in 2025 now. You minus the 25 and the 10. Okay, so that's 15, 19 plus 15. So Nikita's 34 years old, okay? 34 years old. But she dated Larry Ellison when he was 66. So really, if anything, Nikita was slumming it with Mauricio, because Mauricio, I think, is only worth, like a mere $100 million, right? Like, that is chump change to this tech billionaire. Wait, what is going on? Sorry. I'm on Google right now, and it has, like, the most asked questions. And the most asked questions is like, what does Nikita Khan do for a living? And it says, Nikita Khan is an animal advocate, which I don't, and then it's like, where did Nikita Khan go to college? UCLA. And then the other questions is, what disease did Mauricio Umansky have? And he had neutropenia? I don't even need to go down that rabbit hole right now, but these are the most asked questions on Google. And then what's even more interesting, I go to Nikita Khan's Instagram, and a lot of what I would say, I don't know if these are thirst posts. I mean, it's modelly shots, but she only has 6,209 followers. And I thought that was interesting as well. So it's not like she's what, I don't know, man, but her name is Nikita Khan. And I don't know, like, and also they keep saying she was naked in this photo. They keep showing the photo. She's fully clothed. I mean, I don't know. It seems like I'm wearing less clothes right now than she is in that photo, because I'm wearing like basketball shirts and a hoodie. I'm so confused, but her name is Nikita Khan, you guys. So we pick back up in the scene, and Garcelle is telling Sutton, it's just a little while that we can talk about Mo and this incident, and yet we can see Kyle hanging out with Morgan at a concert, and we can't say anything about that. That seems a little odd. And of course, yes, Garcelle is not giving us anything about her actual personal life, but Sutton literally goes, well, I kind of want to respect her privacy on this. I want to respect her privacy. If it was Dorit, you wouldn't want to respect her privacy. And Garcelle kind of just blinks at her. And in a talking head, she says, Sutton is definitely scared of Kyle. Although she says she doesn't bow down, she bows down. Where's the Sutton of last season of name him, name him, name how you hold Morgan at night, name him how you spoon Morgan and make her sing country songs like Garth Brooks' The Last Dance. Name him. Garcelle, though, continues poking Sutton. I think it's interesting that we can talk about Mo, but we can't talk about Morgan. We can't say, hey, how was the concert? Or, I didn't know you were going. How come you're not in the audience like everybody else? And Sutton's like, well, I think the introduction to the topic is, like, hey, we saw you had a great weekend in the press at Morgan's concert. And Garcelle goes, well, how was that? And Sutton's like, well, don't even say it. Just introduce it like that and see if she, and Garcelle goes, gives volunteers more information. And Sutton's like, thank you, yeah. And Garcelle goes, kid gloves. This is so dumb. Really, it is getting to a point where it's dumb and it's insulting to the audience. Just fucking ask, are you boning Morgan? Like, are you going? Like, are we second base? Are we third base? Come on, man. And get it. I get that this is a very personal topic. But sometimes with reality TV, we've been with these women for so many seasons. Just, oh my God, just say, no, my God, it is so blown out of proportion. Not at all. Just like a really great new friend. But if we're going to go down this path of like, oh, no, just say, how you look like you had a great, you know what I would do? If we're going to go down this stupid path, what I would do the next scene is that I would take them to a place where they had like a guitarist, like a maybe a restaurant where they have like a mariachi band or something like that, and be like, oh, Kyle, oh, I love live music. When's the last time, let's all go around the table and play a game. When's the last time we've all seen a live concert? And then, like something's like, well, I just saw Billy Joel. And then like, Kyle, what about you? And she'd be like, I saw Morgan's concert. Oh, how was that? I mean, like, if we're going to... we can find a better way to ask her about this. Sutton's like, well, I'm trying to map this out for us because I don't want to make her angry. I say. So you're just going to scheme in a scene that Kyle has to see like 6 months down the line? And it's like, why couldn't they have just asked me? I was backstage because I like being backstage at concerts. Oh my God. Remember, was it Melissa Etheridge that played the Homeless Not Toothless event? Kyle... Oh my God, it's Melissa, come to my window, yeah. Next scene is in Kyle's kitchen where Kyle is letting the audience know that she is bilingual. Not bisexual, bilingual. And she's like speaking Spanish to her housekeeper, Marta. Me voy el lunes por 5 días, which is I'm leaving on Monday for 5 days. What if it was just like, don't look at the camera while I'm in here. You're not supposed to be here. Bose arrives to, give the St. Lucia gift, but Kyle's just showing off this Spanish, he's just telling Marta, un poco de ayuda con los perros, por favor. And that's a little help with the dogs, please. It's a little curt, Kyle. I would be like, casa de Pepe. Bose is like, oh, you're cute. I brought you a little something for our trip. And, Kyle's like, look at you all dressed up, and I'm always like this. She, of course, is wearing designer jeans, an expensive white button-up blouse, and her expensive watch and a bunch of jewelry. Just shabby chic. Just like Old Navy casual. So they go and sit down. And Kyle's like, well, let's sit down. And she calls out, Marta, Jesse, puedo traer dos bollos de agua. Can you bring us 2 glasses of water? And Bose is like, I didn't know you spoke Spanish. And Kyle's like, well, I grew up speaking Spanish because when you live in L.A., the barrio, I had... people working for us who spoke Spanish always, and then I married my husband's Mexican. And Bose is like, I didn't know that. You didn't? No. Also, side note, Bose, I appreciate your text when that photo came out and you sent that text. Thank you. And Bose is like, look, I'm the kind of friend, I'm ready for war. It took everything for me not to get in my car and drive over there. Bose in a talking head says, we were at Dorit's house. Kyle made a point that I hadn't tried to get to know her earlier. In a couple of episodes, we had that 4th of July party where Erika ate her one hot dog of the year. And Kyle at that party was like, I feel maybe I was being singled out because you got to know Dorit first, Bose. You said that you don't have preconceived ideas. Your actions say otherwise. Bose continues in a talking head. So I think this is the perfect opportunity for us to open up to each other. In the scene, Kyle says, when I first met you, Bose, Mo had just moved out. I feel like I'm going to get really emotional right now, like I do in every scene. And it feels like they filmed this scene a little bit more than we saw because her eyes look puffy and red at the beginning of the scene. Who knows, right? Kyle is crying. He's like, I don't know why I could feel like it was coming. I don't want to do this right now. Kyle's whole storyline is always like, I never planned to be emotional right now. I just want to be able to explain it like the most honest ways because I want you to get to know me and kind of explain everything that I just know, the way we did it. I know not like a traditional way, but I wasn't ready to leave. I didn't even know if that's what I wanted to do. It was just like, and then he finally moved out. And I'm getting confused now because it did seem like they both agreed. When they sat down the girls, remember that very emotional scene? It's confusing because then the audience has to fill in these blanks that we don't really have a lot of information about. And I'm like, this is why it's like, as painful as it is for these women, it's so helpful to just share exactly what's happening. Kyle in a talking head says, when he finally said, I am going to move out, it was strange. It was like, wow, this is really happening. And I think that part of me would have been happy to just be like, oh, well, you live in your room and I'll live in my room and just do our own thing, which is just not realistic. So I don't know. That's also interesting to think about that Kyle would have been probably okay with that for the rest of her life, but Mauricio wasn't. So are we then to deduce that Mauricio wants a more authentic life? What are we to deduce? Are we to deduce that Kyle just wants appearances? Like what can we deduce from that? Bo says, well, I have a funny, not really funny, maybe morbid story, but Peter died. That was her ex when Lael was 4. That's her daughter. And we had been separated before he got sick. I was afraid to ask him for a divorce. I didn't want him to be mad at me. I didn't want to be the bad guy. I said, let's be separated and we'll figure it out. And then one day I go over to pick up Lael and there was this woman there. And then when we found out his cancer was terminal, I came in the hospital one day and she was, like rubbing his head and like giving him these little very tender kisses. And girl, I lost my mind. I was like, get this bitch out of here. And Kyle's like, wow. Kyle's like, that's a way better story than mine. Oh my God. Also, I love that Bose started this with, I have a funny, Bose, not really funny, that story, but it's very real. Like, it's a very real story. Bose in a talking head says, I understand where Kyle is because the pain of seeing someone that you have built a life with move on is unlike anything else. It's hard to fathom that it's possible for them to do that. See, this is what I'm talking about. Right now, Bose, 1 season in, is the most real character on this show. Isn't that the most real, relatable thing, no matter what tax bracket you live in? That we understand that line completely? I think all of us universally, especially Shep Rose on Southern Charm, understands that. But to me, I was like, damn, that gets you in the feels and you're like, oh my God, everybody, we've all been through a situation or, we've all been there. Kyle says, obviously I didn't love seeing that. And it's like, he feels bad enough as it is. I know by the way, I like that Kyle doesn't like ask more. Well, maybe it's edited a different way, but I like Kyle's like, great story. Anyways, back to Mo. It's like he feels bad enough as it is. I know he feels horrible. I know him well enough to know that. And Bose is like, but why? What is it? Because he feels like you're embarrassed? What is it? He wouldn't want to hurt me in any way or our girls. I mean, this is the hard thing that I don't think we ever accept, no matter how old we are, is that you will hurt people in this life, unfortunately. And then we get ourselves in trouble because we tie ourselves up in knots, trying to find ways not to hurt those people. And then you hurt those people more. And then you're like, oh yeah, I should have, it is so complicated and it is so universal. And it's a painful situation. It's like certain situations are weird because they're supposed to be weird. I was talking about this with my dad the other day about a situation, and we were talking about it, and I was like, well, yeah, it's weird, but it's supposed to be weird. It would be weird if we didn't acknowledge that it was weird, but it doesn't mean it's bad. It doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just weird. Our inability to sit in uncomfortable situations, unless you're Michael Scott in The Office, is something that always trips us up. Or I think a good portion, maybe I'm in the minority here, but I so related to this scene. So Bose is like, well, when are you all supposed to move on? And Kyle's like, I just got backstage at Morgan Wade, so I'm trying. No, she goes, we're separated. We're not divorced or filed for divorce. And Bose is like, yeah, how long can you do that or think you can do that? Well, I think that things change, the photo, to be honest. And Bose is like, the photo, it changed things. Yeah, I'm going to have a conversation with him, but it gives me permission to move forward with what I need to do. That's the photo that gave you permission? Like, this is what confuses me. There's photos of you and Morgan. There was literally a scene with, Morgan getting, fucking tattooed. Like, you're getting a tattoo. It's me, Morgan. Like, wouldn't that, are we being told the truth? Like, listen, I hate conspiracy theories, but are we in a massive conspiracy theory? Kyle goes, yeah, I'm going to have a conversation with him, but it gives me permission to move forward with what I need to do. And Bose is like, yeah, okay, so this is the first time that you'll see each other. He's been in Europe. Would you like to join us? And Bose is like, I would, because they're about to have a scene. They both laugh, and now, oh my God, you guys, we're a new scene. Dorit is being dropped off at a restaurant called Drake's Hollywood's Restaurant. She gets seated, and it's like this, I think it's like red, dark booths. It's like really darkly lit, and I'm like, oh shit, it's a PK Dorit scene. And PK comes in all clean shaven. I think maybe he hasn't been on the past couple of episodes because he maybe got some minor face work. Who knows, right? He looks fresh-faced, but that's not even really a compliment. It's just like he just looks clean. Like I'm saying, like certain people, they're like, oh man, you look really good. And I don't know, no offense to PK, but and I think maybe I'll give that to myself too, is that sometimes I can look clean, but nobody's like, damn, that guy looks good. You're like, oh, you look clean. Like PK looked clean in this scene. So PK comes in, swinging his big old dick. He's like, how are you, Dorit? And he pecks her on the cheek, and Dorit's like, it's a little weird, but... And he's got kind of shorter blondish hair. And PK goes, yeah, well, life's weird, isn't it? Yeah. Dorit's like, thankfully you leaned in and gave me a little kiss. Why wouldn't I? I don't know. And PK raising his hand, want a high five? Is that what you rather, a high five? Dorit in the talking head says, PK and I have now been separated for 3 months. By the way, it could just be that PK is getting more sleep now, that Kyle is incessantly sending him memes and texts. That could be what is happening here. So PK says, can I have a drink? Oh, I don't drink. There's a problem. So acknowledging that he's sober still, right? Dorit continues in a talking head. What I thought was going to be an amicable separation turned into 3 months of the worst kind of roller coaster I could have imagined that I've barely shared any of on this television show. 3 months and you've seen barely a blip. I don't want cast members to, it's like, real. I've seen a couple episodes where things have not looked good, but this is the worst kind of, let's see the roller coaster, right? I like roller coasters. We have a flashback to the dinner from the first episode of the season where Dorit's like, PK, we're talking 5 times a day. And he's like, I know, but we're not going to. And then a flashback 2 months earlier where Dorit tells Bose, we had a 4-hour therapy session. And Bose is like, 4 hours? He throws out, this is why I want a divorce. And Bose is like, no. And then a flashback 5 weeks earlier at Kathy's. And remember, Kathy called him PJ. Oh, PJ, he's a good father, isn't he? Well, I think he's a very good father. Am I correct? And Dorit's like, wrong. Dorit finishes her talking head. I have no idea what to expect tonight. The server comes over to take their mocktail order, and PK wants the I'll take the phony Negroni. It's a Negroni, but it's phony, and that's why they call it phony Negroni. I love it. But Dorit's like, I'll take a Belvedere Club soda, lemons, squeezed really, really well. Ha, wait for it. Ha, I'm not going to say carcass out. I'm not saying it. No. She has abandoned the carcass out verbiage. Dorit tells PK, I'm really pleased to hear you're doing this work. Well, you've been doing work on yourself as well, haven't you? Yes, and I feel like my eyes are wide open for the first time in a very long time. Well, I don't want to misinterpret what you mean about your eyes wide open. I mean that the last few months something shifted in you. Well, the first time things started to go wrong or when we spoke about the apartment, right? I said, I'm taking this apartment. One of the significant issues in our marriage were your control issues, and there was me separated in less than a few weeks in you're dictating where I'm going to live. And that's in the backdrop of me knowing that you're in our house, which we've not paid for in potentially years. And I'm taking this really small, humble apartment, which was in my life, humble as it's ever been, and it felt like an approval process that I didn't want to go through. And Dorit's like, we actually had the conversation about the apartment. Yeah, but I didn't want to have the conversation. That's my point. Well, it's my point. Okay, let's be judge, jury, executioner here. PK is completely in the wrong. I'm sorry. If you have a relationship where you actually have children, yeah, you're going to need to share with this person where you're living. You're going to have to talk about that, right? And it seems like he's had very little, no leash on him at all. And I love that he's like, you talking about my home now. And by the way, how dare you, Beverly Hills, for not showing us pictures of his humble apartment? I swear to God, if this guy has like a patio or a balcony, I'll scream. I'll cry into a pillow because this better be a studio apartment. If he's saying humble, I want to know what humble looks like to PK. It's in the details, folks. Dorit says, we clearly have different views, but what I would like to know is what prompted that long email that knocked me off my feet. We have a flashback to 5 weeks earlier where Erika is like, what's in the email? What did it say? Just finances, and I'm going to stop paying this, and you're going to be liable for this. And Kathy's like, where's he going with this? And Erika's like,
that's a divorce.
Erika's always like,
I know exactly what that is.
PK says, Dorit, you really want to start discussing only a part of that email? No, I'm not finished. It was a summary of how you made me feel and what life will potentially look like if we don't resolve this. The reason I asked you to retain a lawyer was in an attempt to try and have a commercial, sensible conversation because we were not able to communicate. So bring in some experts. What? What the fuck are you saying, dude? What the fuck are you saying? You need a lawyer that probably charges $500 to $1,000 an hour to have a conversation. I am so confused. And once again, it would be helpful to see the email or at least a piece of the email. And it feels like a bullying tactic from PK. It feels like gaslighting. You don't know how relationships work that are very powerful and big like this one. I represent Boy George. The Culture Club, Karma Chameleon. I need a lawyer there at all times. Dorit's like, I kept telling you we need to communicate. I wanted to communicate like civil people. And PK's like, all right, let's move forward. I have my phony Negroni. So the email suggested that you had retained a lawyer and you were 100 steps ahead of me. Did you at any point want a divorce? And PK's like, I believe that unfortunately this is what ends a marriage. I believe that rather than bringing out the best in me, you can bring out the worst in me. Most romantic line of the season just dropped. Oh my God, this is the antithesis of you make me want to be a better man. You had me at hello. Billy Crystal's like, when you find the love of your life, you want that time to start now. It's like, you bring out the worst in me. Okay, like, where do you go from there? How much more hurtful can you be? Well, here's the thing. It's just a little one.
relationships where you hope you bring out the best in the other person. It is not. It's the opposite where it's the worst. So it's just a little thing, and I think we can move past that. Like, where do you go with that? He goes, the reality is we have to co-parent and we have to keep it loving and kind and we have to work on our relationship and make ourselves get back. And then he goes, you're my best fucking mate, right? Period. High five. We need to find that friendship again. We lost it, right? Like, I want to be able to fart in front of you again, right? And belch and do friend things, right? Like, what are you talking about, man? You're my best fucking mate. And also, we have to get back to co-parenting. No, you have to get back to co-parenting. It seems like you're gone the majority of the time. What are you talking about? Dorit's like, do you have in your mind, Dorit and I are going to try and work through things, but divorce is there? I don't know. You don't know what? I don't know whether divorce is in our future. I don't know. At the moment, you sit here and think you got no fucking chance, right? But who knows? What is going? He's like, I know over there you're thinking, hey, I don't got this part, but who knows? Maybe, maybe by some luck of the gods, you'll be able to stay with good old sexy PK. Hey, now let's talk about Mo. Considerably less attractive than ever. He's no Brad Pitt, right? But me, fresh-faced PK, you might have a chance if you just hang on for one more day, as Wilson Phillips used to say. Am I right? And Dorit's like, I just want some clarity, that's all. I'm trying to answer you. Please. Okay, so what's next for us is our journey to become friends again, right? For me, that's what's next. Maybe we can go out clubbing and you can be a wingman like my friend, like me and Mo, he's busy with a lot of different women in Mykonos. But maybe we start a friendship where we go out, you're my wingman, and help introduce me to other women. And I see that you got my back, and I'll maybe do this. But he goes, if we sit here in 6 months' time and we say, you know what? We've managed to do this. Dorit, we've got the kids sorted. We're best friends and we're better not being married. Then we'll not be married, right? This is even more confusing reading it than it was watching it. Like when you actually parse out the words that he's saying, you're like, wait, what? In six, here's what we'll do. Do you believe in magic? Where let's say we meet somebody like a little Harry Potter little kid with magic and he does some kind of love potion. And if he can do a love potion that makes us fall back in love, who knows? We're back together, right? But if we don't find that little kid, the little magic kid, the little Harry Potter kid, then we'll be divorced. It's that easy. It's simple, right? Dorit in the Talking Dead says, I don't feel in my heart that I want a divorce, but I'm not the one in control. Truthfully, PK is calling the shots. Wait, what? This is one of those comments that make you question the entire relationship. And this is why I said I was very scared for Dorit at the beginning of this recap. Because it feels like he's been calling the shots all along. And now I'm suspect that he's been calling a lot of bad shots this whole marriage. And because if not, Dorit would have potentially... you know what I'm saying? Like, I think at some point, obviously there will be a breaking point, and obviously Dorit will have to stand up on her own 2 feet, which she has been doing, it seems like, without him physically there. But this is really dark. I'm not alone in thinking this, right? But Dorit goes, "Wow, you are hard fucking work, dude." And PK's, all right, can we go? That's not how a best friend would talk to each other. You say you're easy to deal with. So anyways, they just like, oh, okay, it's time to go home. And Dorit's like, okay. It was so weird, you guys. Okay, so now we're over, that's weird. And then all of a sudden we have this bow scene, which is so normal and nice and like adult. And I don't even mean that Bose and her dude Keely are adult. Her daughter Lael is so adult. I'm so impressed as I get older with kids that seem to have their shit together. And Lael's one of them. But it's like you watch this scene that is so bizarre and so not human. And then you go to this scene where the whole thing is about having Lael get to know Keely, Bose's like boyfriend, better because they want to get married and start a family. And that's the thing. Like, you know, Keely brings like flowers and sweet lady Jayne desserts, and it's very sweet. And Bose said, you know, they haven't spent a lot of time with each other. But it's really nice. They're complimenting each other. And Bose continues in a talking head saying, I need Lael to come along the journey and get to know Keely a little bit better. And so Keely and Lael are making conversations about the first time they met in Ghana. And, you know, Lael just seems very sweet and nice and smart. And I'm not trying to be, I don't know. I was really impressed with Lael. But Bose says she's really anxious. She's nervous about this. I totally get this. They're having dinner, and Lael, very adult-like, says, can I ask you a question? Do you guys think that you'd like move in together like before you guys got married? And they're like, whoa, shit. And they're like, well, Keely's like, that's a tough question because I have lived with somebody before marriage, but I think in this case, I would probably wait till like maybe there's an engagement and I'd want you and her to have a conversation first. And then Lael's like, okay, well, do you think you would move here or like move to San Diego where Keely is or meet somewhere in the middle? And Keely's like, well, it would be easier for me to pick up, right, and come here, but I'd keep my house in San Diego. What would you prefer? And Lael, very adult, says, oh, I'd prefer to stay here. I mean, because even if you guys got married tomorrow and we had to move somewhere, then I'd have to like, you know, go to a new high school and stuff and get new friends. And Keely's like, yeah, I wouldn't want to uproot you. I know the importance of friendships and relationships. And then Lael's like, do you guys want multiple kids or like just one? And Bose is laughing and Keely's like, I'm going to take a sip of wine right here. Bose in a talking head says, I am so proud of Lael. My God, she's asking all of the questions that I have been a little hesitant to get the answer to. So her daughter is asking stuff that Bose doesn't even have the guts to ask. And she's doing it like not in an intense, overbearing way. She's just like a normal person, just like a well-adjusted normal person. And we don't see that a lot. And it's like sometimes it's from kids. But Keely says, I would like to have multiple kids, but of course it's all based on your mom's health. We take it one at a time. And then Lael's like, hey, this may be a hard question, but how soon would you guys want to like get married and have a kid? And Keely's like, your mom, she embodies the essence of somebody who I think would instill great values. And Bose is like, thank you. I appreciate that very much. And then Keely's nervous. He's like, I forgot what the question was. And Bose in a talking head says, let me tell you something. My late husband was a great dad. He adored Lael and he has been a giant in her life and in her mind this entire time. So I haven't brought anybody around to meet her because I simply don't think they could measure up. And Keely does. But once again, what an amazing mother. Like that is the right way. I've dipped out on this season of the Kardashians and I'll probably catch up at some point, but there's just so much good television on right now. But somebody showed me a clip of Khloe Kardashian and a clip from one of the episodes from the season. And she's in a car ride with one of the Malikas. And it comes out that Khloe says she hasn't told True that True thinks her and Tristan Thompson are married, her mom and dad. And she's like, I don't want to tell her now. I'll wait till she's older. And the Malika's like, yeah, no, that's totally the right idea. I'm like, what? Could somebody talk some fucking, this is like, come back to earth, you guys. No, you tell True now. Like you don't, it is weird, but like, it's going to be weirder. It's like, does Khloe still believe in Santa Claus? Like what? What are you talking about? True thinks that you and Tristan Thompson are married. Like it made me almost want to watch the show again. I was like, what? That's bizarre. More money, more problems in that you get so clueless about the world in certain ways. And I'm not saying that, I'm not saying just rich people do that, but it's just so bizarre. I'm like, Khloe, how do you profess to be so spiritual and so in touch with so many things and be so wrong about a decision? Like, no, be honest. And your daughter will be so appreciative as she gets older, and it will instill something in her that she will always remember about honesty and about tough things in relationships. And it doesn't have to be doom and gloom because she sees Tristan. Her father is present in her life. And like, I was trying to think of what age you have a concept of what marriage is. Like, what is it? Like, it's like, if you're lucky enough to have a mom and a dad, like, it's mom and dad. And I was trying to remember what age where I understood marriage. And I think TV does a lot of things because I think I learned about divorce from television. But I just thought, no, this is not the way to go, right? And I was like, is Kris Jenner encouraging this? Okay, so now we're at a scene over at Kyle and Mauricio's
marital home at one point, and Kyle looks like she's wearing one of Mo's button-up shirt. It's pretty large on it. Maybe it's Morgan's. Who knows? She's like, I feel so tired right now. The dogs woke me up so early. And Portia's there. It's like, what time? Like 5 a.m. Well, maybe don't get 30 dogs. Sorry. Mauricio arrives in a Range Rover, walks in the front door, and Portia's like, oh, that's so brutal. I'm getting tired at 9 and waking up at 8 because of Europe. Like, I'm still on that time. Hey, Dad. Oh my God. OMG, the dogs got so big. I haven't seen these dogs. And Portia's like, you're hot. Why are you so hot, Dad? Oh, because I've got a lady in Mykonos. No, he's actually just hot, I think, from the weather. And Mo hugs Kyle, and she looks at him like she is goo goo gaga, like full goo goo dolls over this. She's like, bring it in, yeah, tighter. And Mo's like, how are you? And by the way, the first warning sign about Mo, he's wearing like 30 bracelets. I was like, whoa, is this Lenny Kravitz? What's going on? Hey, I can't tell. My eyes aren't seeing too good lately. Is that Johnny Depp? He's wearing like 30 bracelets and a lot of jewelry. And that's always, and then I was like, does Kimosabi sell more than hats? Like, do they sell jewelry as well? He's wearing a lot of bracelets. There's some necklaces, a lot of jewelry. And that's when you know people have like extra money to like spread around when you start, because these don't look like cheap bracelets. These look like expensive rich person bracelets. You know what I'm saying? And so Kyle's like, I'm good. How are you? And the talking head Kyle goes, seeing that photo of Mo was like, okay, things have changed and I don't know how he's going to be towards me now. I don't know what this relationship is. I don't know if this is just a passing phase thing or a serious thing. I know how women are. What does that mean? Yes, let's turn against other women. Dude, you're separated. I hate to, I'm so confused. And also, we know how men are. Like, yes, turns out I'd like to put my penis in other thing, you know, like, it's crazy. We're crazy. Portia goes upstairs. She's like, I don't want to see this. None of us do, really. Kyle's like, how was your trip? And Mo hesitates, and he's like looking in the cupboards. He's like, yeah, you know, it was nice. A lot of spas, you know, a lot of sound healing and spiritual healing and penis healing. Like, I only partied like 5 nights out of the 25 nights I was gone. And then I was like, wait, what is fucking, like, I need to get into real estate. You're able to, like, take off for 25 days overseas? What's going on over the agency? I'm so confused by everything in life. How is he 25 nights? Because, like, I find that hard to believe. We have a flashback to 2 weeks earlier at that caviar caftan lunch, and Faye O.J. Resnick says, by the way, you do know that Mo is trying to get PK and my husband to go to Saint-Tropez. Wait, and Dre's like, I know. And Faye's like, so now he wants to drag my husband into his single lifestyle? Like, why didn't we see this on the original Caviar Caftan Caviar episode? That's the line right there. Like, Mo's like, come on, PK, join me. Just 2 single bros. I don't know, man. I've got a sober lifestyle, you know. I'm trying to be best friends with Dorit. I don't need to be best friends with you. Wow, that's a wild line. But anyways, Mauricio in this scene goes, I promise. No, I promise. Kyle says, this is very awkward in a talking head. We both know what we are both thinking. No, Kyle. I don't feel... could you fill the audience in on what you both are thinking? I have no idea what you're thinking. And Mo is just still like in cupboards, like, and Mo... It's so Mo's doing like prop comedy. He's like, what are the coffee mug? Where do you put the coffee mugs in this place? Oh, it's great. What did you change everything? Oh, this is crazy. I will give them that this is a very awkward scene. And listen, in all seriousness, you have to admit that these two people have been in each other's lives forever, right? Forever. They have raised a family together. What am I doing? And Kyle continues in a talking head. I feel like he's distracting himself so he doesn't have to deal with me. And then Mo has a coffee cup. And I just really want you to feel, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see that I actually have a coffee cup. This is my Lumen Macro Data Refinement coffee mug and a spoon, because Mo does some of the best prop work I've ever seen in this scene. And he's like, it was an awkward trip because, it was the first time I ever, had to go without, the family. And I will say, Mo is like, he's talking about it, but he's talking about it in circles, and she's like, yeah, I wanted to do that, and I wanted to be alone, and, alone, but with other women, if you know what I mean, and take advantage of seeing what that looks like, and just be, running around and make decisions, last minute, and take showers and brush my teeth and see what that looks like. And this is the point where they're just staring at each other, and Mo is stirring whatever he put into his coffee. He's like, he just keeps stirring. It reminds me of Lisa Rinna that season when they were over at Kathy Hilton's house, and she got a hold of the butler's bell, and she was like, and she kept like, ring-a-ding-ding. Like, Mo just keeps stirring the coffee. And I was like, gee, dude. And he goes, Kyle's like, well, and he goes, obviously. No, and Mo goes, obviously, the Mykonos trip, I got photographed, the airport, that I never want to do anything on purpose that would hurt you or the kids. I'm really sorry for, hurting you. I would never want to hurt you on purpose. Remember, Kyle already said he had texted an apology to her before this. So now he is just redoing that text message for the cameras. And that's the other thing you get the feeling once you're in these long-term shows, is that they're reenacting scenes. So it's real to a degree. Their emotions are real, but it's like, when I used to do theater, you would rehearse the play. And it's like, okay, you rehearse, and then you're doing the performance, and this is the performance. Now, Kyle's blinging back tears, obviously. It's like, I know that you would never do that on purpose. I know that you did not know that your picture was being taken. I don't know that the other person didn't know that. That fucking bitch! She doesn't say that. And Mo shakes his head. But obviously, that's hard to see. He's like, yeah, the lenses, right? And Kyle's still like, but we're separated and we're allowed to do what we want in this time. It's just strange, And he's like, of course, I get it. Of course. By the way, if he had some balls, he would start singing one of Morgan Wade's songs. It's like one of these musicians I hear always said, I don't know one of Morgan's songs, but it would be great if he sang it. Kyle in a talking head says, the photos really did say to me, he's moving on. That's what did it. I see. I know I'm loud. But that's what did it. You can live in this la-la land for as long as you want, but that was a hammer on the head saying, hello, Kyle, he's moved on. It's okay. You're both entitled to live your lives. Yes, you are. Kyle to Mo is like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do now, but anyway. Kyle continues in a talking head, I think about how did we get here? If we care about each other so much, how did we allow this to happen? And Kyle wipes away tears and blinks at Mo, and Mo is just like, everything we built, this is like the rug being really ripped out from under your feet. I did not expect my life to go in this direction. None of us do, Kyle. That's why it's called life, man. Kyle grabs a Kleenex and dabs her eyes and sniffles. Mose goes over to her and hugs her. Oh, the reality of that scene, taking away all of the dad jokes I just made is, that's a real relationship. Kyle's still talking in the talking head. I'm seeing these photos. I think it makes it pretty clear that this is permanent, and I don't think it's going to be easy to come back from that. Okay, and now we're finally getting ready to go to St. Lucia. We're over at Sutton's. Avi, her assistant, is pushing Sutton around on her rolling luggage, and he's singing, St. Lucia, here we come, da-da-da-da-da. Dorit's packing. I need to show you a couple of options. I'm thinking about this for the birthday dinner. And she holds up like a shiny, lacy slip dress, and little Jagaloo's like, this is not mature enough. Okay, Jagger, calm down. Dorit's like, it's a Paco Rabanne. Well, I'll put it to the side then. Yeah, Mommy, that's shit. And then we're over at Kyle's, and Kyle's is like, I think I need to move on with my... No, she goes, okay, I'm going to bring you my options. This is naked, nothing underneath, thirst trap photo. So they're all just showing each other their outfits. Over at Jennifer Tilly's, she's like, I had this hat. I think it looks so fabulous.
and it's large and fluffy, feathery, very Jennifer Tilly.
She's like, and I got a black lace bra and high heels, very Erika Jayne.
I want to hang out with Jen Tilly. Like, Jennifer Tilly seems like a good hang. And she seems like she doesn't take, I don't know. I really like Jennifer Tilly. And that says something watching Aria. You're like, I really like Jennifer Tilly. Erika is with her assistant. By the way, her assistant has been with Erika in the good times and the bad. And I'm just wondering what the pay structure looks like for her, because she is still with Erika. And, there's like, she's pulling out blue jean cut Daisy Dukes, and, talking about like hoe shorts. And then we're over at Bose, and Bose is packing with her buddy Nico. We didn't get Garcelle in this, and we didn't get Kathy, but it's daytime, and now we're at the airport, and Kathy Hilton arrives, as well as Garcelle. They're at the airport first. Dorit is next, and Kathy is wearing a Compassion Can't Wait t-shirt. I've always said compassion can't wait. Compassion cannot wait. And Kathy's like, we're not going to New York, because Dorit put on like a lightweight trench, and Dorit's like, I know. And it's nighttime, and Jennifer, Erika, Kyle catch up with each other at the airport for a red-eye flight. Kyle, in a talking head, says, I'm happy to go on a girls' trip, escape LA, escape the paparazzi. They're photographing Mo anyway, and just enjoy myself. Well, if they're photographing Mo and Mykonos, why can't we photograph Kyle? God, if we photograph Kyle in St. Lucia, making out with somebody at the airport, that's how you get back at Mo. Jennifer Tilly's like,
I had this woman. She was a princess. She sold me a Birkin bag. Isn't that amazing?
And she pulls out this really worn leather boxy type rectangular bag with a zipper. And Jennifer's like,
it's Hermes.
And Erika, you can just see Erika like get a full on boner here. She's like,
look at this. Hermes crocodile vintage jewelry case. It's divine. This is like old movie star shit.
I always love to see Erika coveting her friend's goods. And I was talking to Rebecca, and I was like, oh, that looks really beat up. Like, isn't it supposed to be like high quality? She's like, no, that's what the Birkin was meant to be. Like back in the day, it was like, and this is true glamour, what Jennifer Tilly has. Erika is like touching it, I'm like, calm down. Like, don't get your paw prints all over it. Erika's like,
I need one of these boxes in my line.
What line? What are you doing a clothing line now? Okay, Garcelle and Sutton walk in. Kyle's like, okay, so Kathy and Dorit got on the 12 o'clock flight. They're there. Bose is there, okay? Bose in a talking head says, you would not believe how difficult it is to get all these ladies to our final destination. It really is like herding cats. I mean, they're just out there, meow, meow, meow. So we are taking a separate flight. We're meeting up in Miami and then head off to St. Lucia together from there. Okay, so they connect with each other in Miami. They board the plane for St. Lucia. Bose in a talking head says, our itinerary's packed and I love it. We have fabulous dinners planned. We have local activities, a boat ride. We got to celebrate Erika and Dorit's birthday. We got a night market. I love being in charge. And I'm just like, that sounds amazing, Bose, but you should add, like, we are going to be miserable at local activities, miserable at a boat ride. Like, that's what all of those activities is. We're going to have a fight at each one of those. A song plays, sunset is taking me higher. I'm going to play on the playa. The sunset is taking me higher. They land in St. Lucia. They get driven to the result with a police motorcade escort, leading two Cadillac Escalades to the Windjammer landing. And they're always greeted at these hotels with like fancy tropical drinks that look like they have a lot of sugar in them. They enter their beachfront residence, and everybody's like, oh my God, it's beautiful. And Dorit's like, it says happy birthday in the residence. And Jennifer's like,
oh my God, there's a whole drum thing here.
Outside on the patio is a 7-member band playing steel drums to welcome them. This is me playing steel drums with my Mauricio mug. Dun, 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 dun. And the ladies go out and dance with them. And Bose in a talking head says, I love this welcome. This is exactly the way I wanted our trip to start. We got beautiful views, delicious cocktails. We got a steel pan band and a gorgeous time ahead. Who would complain? Bose, I can tell you 6 ladies that can complain right off the bat. So Bose tells them the rooms. She's like, we have our rooms. They're all around. So Erika and Dorit will be here. Kyle and Kathy, you're in a villa together. And then Sutton, Garcelle, and Jen. And Jennifer's like,
Garcelle and I had to sleep in the same bed as Sutton?
Jennifer in a talking head goes,
I've traveled with Sutton a lot before. I don't think we've ever shared a bed together. I've actually slept next to her on planes. And she does have a tendency to wake up in the middle of the night going, ah!
But I will tell you, and I hate to keep doing this, but if you think about Salt Lake, how we got so much content out of the villas when Lisa Barlow took them to see where the beautiful Vita tequila is made. That was like a whole, like Braun was pouting. She wasn't in the villa with Lisa. Like these are opportunities. Like this is, and we're all of a sudden we're like, yeah, okay, cool. That's where we're all staying. There's personalized pillowcases, and Erika in a talking head goes,
This is stunning. The resort is beautiful, nestled in this beautiful mountainside, gorgeous beaches. Bose may be giving Kathy Hilton a run for her money on these trips.
the other ladies are finding their villas. Kathy and Kyle's villa has like their own deck and private pool. They're all getting packed, and Kathy Hilton has a great scene. Just no words. She's just unpacking her like beautiful glass jars of the fanciest facial product. Like these are like made from babies or something. I'll put this here, and then this serum goes here, and then this is where I'm going to put my industrial lotion right here. I could have watched that for an hour. Sutton, Garcelle, and Jennifer's villa is also super deluxe with a private pool and rooftop deck. Sutton's in their villa, and she's like, we could lay up here topless. I'll say. I won't get my breastises out. I won't get suntan everywhere. Avi's going to be like, I don't see no lines. Jennifer is looking at her open suitcase in her room. She's like,
Oh, my candy fell apart. Disaster. Oh, no, Mr. Bill.
we see that Jennifer Tilly has indeed packed candy, and it is spilled all over her bed. It's like Good and Plenty's or something. And Jennifer in a talking head goes,
I'm panicking. The idea of being without my candy for the next 3 or 4 days is very triggering to me. I know I'm going to need to eat this candy at 3 in the morning after I've had another one of our terrifying dinners.
I love Jennifer, man. Like, how like relatable is that? Of like, I know I'm going to need my 3M candy, so I'm going to pack it with, like, yeah, she has a lot of money, but she also knows like the finer things in life or some of the simpler things is just your Good and Plenty's. Dorit is in the villa hugging Bose. Oh my God, thank you, my love, thank you. Jennifer back in her villa is like,
I feel relaxed already. I just feel like, this is vacation. We're in a country I can't pronounce. Santa Luce.
back to Dorit. She plops in bed. She's like, I'm so happy. By the way, Erika looks like she's going skiing for some reason. She's in like a puffy ski pants. It's like,
I thought we were going to be in the Alps. I had no idea.
now back to Sutton and their villa. She's like, have I said hello to Dorit? Did you notice? Garcelle goes, well, I was going to ask you that. I didn't see you guys say hello, but I wasn't with you the whole time. She's like, I was feeling some weird vibes, so I don't know. I was feeling them from Dorit. And Jennifer's like,
From who?
Dorit.
She probably feels weird because the last time you guys were together at my caviar Caspia thing, you were at each other's throats.
And Sutton rolls her eyes like, oh, give a big old Sutton eye roll. And we have a flashback to them calling each other bitches. And Sutton's like, I think that she digs at me pretty hard. And Garcelle goes, okay, we're back. I see the ice. Okay, yeah. The Sutton ice is happening. Garcelle in a talking head goes, Sutton's eyes, they're like this. And she does a glare mimicking Sutton. I'm getting weird vibes from Dorit. She kind of does a Sutton imitation. Now, Dorit in her room says, Dorit in her room is like, I want to enjoy the trip, you guys. I don't want to sit around this festering. We haven't said 2 words to one another, but I know when she comes in with wrath. I know when she's looking. And Bose is like, and you think she's coming in with that today? She's definitely coming in like,
I may have been a bad girl.
What voice was Dorit doing there? Because I liked it, whatever it was, but it wasn't Sutton. It was, it was so, I liked it, but I just don't know. And anyway, Bose and Erika like it. Sutton and her villa is like, here's the thing. I'm watching Dorit with Kyle, and Dorit's acting, Garcelle goes, like they're best friends again. And Sutton's like, well, but the forgiveness factor is so easy between them. And Garcelle goes, well, they always had that. But me, it's like, and Garcelle's like, oh, I'm sure they can say, we have that. And Jennifer goes,
You know, I like all the girls, but I have to say it's a cliquey group and it's tough to crack. I mean, myself as a newcomer, it's a difficult group to crack. That's all I'm saying. I did have some weird expectation that we were all going to be walking along, skipping and holding hands and singing.
in a talking head, Jennifer's like,
I like everyone to like me. And I really thought, oh, these girls all hang out together and, you know, we'll all be a girl gang and we'll get to know each other and have sleepovers. And Erika, Jayne will steal everything that I have and things like that. But I think that they all have so much history together and it comes off a little bit cliquey.
I like that Jennifer thinks that, but it's like, yeah, but also it comes off like they really just hate each other and don't like each other.
Jennifer in the scene goes,
I mean, I'm intimidated because it's a little bit like the popular girls at school.
in a talking head, she says,
I grew up in the 60s, and I would always try to get into the popular group, but they all knew I was not one of them. Like, I was wearing secondhand clothes. I was like this weird hippie girl that didn't take a bath very often. Oop, I shouldn't say that.
and we see pictures of young Jennifer Tilly. And, you know, it takes very little in terms of like sharing with the audience to kind of get like, oh, okay, I see how, you know, you grew up, and I see, you know, like it doesn't take much.
Jennifer goes, do you feel like it's almost kind of like no matter what you do, you can't fix it?
And Sutton starts to cry. Like, oh my, it's just been a long road with these girls, and the only person that truly supports me is Garcelle. Even Kyle won't say, come on, this is enough. It's always like you two. It's never Dorit. Come on, that's too much. I mean, Sutton, come on, man. You have, like, raked Dorit over the coal. Like, just be happy you have Garcelle and Jennifer. Like, they're not chopped liver. Come on. Garcelle in a talking head says, that's the multi-million-dollar question, is why does Sutton continue to stand up for Kyle when Kyle doesn't always stand up for her? I don't know. I don't think Kyle gives a rat's ass about Dorit. I mean, like, you know, she cares about it. I don't think she cares. And Sutton cares so deeply. And I don't, like, Sutton's been so aggressive that I don't really feel tons of empathy for her in this situation. Anyway, Sutton's crying. He's like, it's like I want them to like me so much, and I can't get them to, I say. And then the words flash up on the screen, 24 hours later, and they're on a boat. And we see Dorit to Sutton say, you can't be the one to give it and not be able to take it. True. And Erika's like,
You pose as a friend and then oftentimes work as an enemy.
also true. And Sutton's like, well, this is not going to be Sutton at trial on the sea. And Erika's like,
Okay, now you're being ridiculous.
and Sutton yells, what do you fucking want from me? I say, seriously, what you fucking want from me? Oh. So that's next week. That looks really solid. Hello, it's me, Mauricio. Potentially will not be in the next week's episode, so I'm very sorry. I'm going to be exploring things, seeing what that feels like, you know, like doing things by myself, or completely alone, you know, but I'll potentially have a woman or two there that I'll be making out. But we'll doing various things by myself, you know. And then, so that's next week's episode, you guys. Wow, very long episode, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had some laughs. We still have Southern Charm and Summer House to look forward to this week, but I hope you have a great Thursday. You're so close to Friday. Hang in there, folks, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye.